I ask Martin Hoshino to present his report.
Thank you, Chief. Members, my regular report is in your materials. It's shorter than usual. I think that's owing to some of the slowness of the activities related to the holidays in the period between the last time that you met. Included in that report, however, are what we refer to as the year in review. And there's some elements there. It's also references the year in review branch-wide for what the activities are for the council in terms of real highlights and major initiatives and projects and things going on. The year in review is also conveniently placed on our website for folks to see. I just wanted to call attention to a couple of things because we focus on how it highlights the administration of justice improvements, and it actually has some what I call annual metrics in there for how it is we're performing and things that we are doing, and tries to put at least some quantity on the activity and the things that go on out there into the system. With respect to legal services as one example, I don't think people are aware of the volume that occurs there, but our particular legal program is putting out opinions in the order of about 220 a year. Last year it was 224, and at any given time they are managing external lawsuits and claims in our trial courts, in our courts of appeal and throughout our system, and last year's number was 496 of such claims. In addition, as you know, we have a fiscal operation that pays the bills, processes the checks, and one of those checks that gets processed every year is the jury checks, and we're processing generally anywhere between 240,000 and 260,000 jury checks a year. And then another area to highlight is in the area of facilities. As you know, we manage and are responsible for maintaining over 500 facilities, and in those facilities at any given time there are a number of modification requests. Last year we had completed about 1,400 facility modifications, and these buildings, given the state that they are, often require service, maintenance, things go wrong, and in that system, the system is calling us about 66,000 times a year for what it takes to keep those facilities running. Last thing I kind of want to highlight is the education program. We put out about 230 live programs in terms of the order of magnitude for education each year. And in it, we put out about 45 judicial publications each year, and that was the number in particular last year. I did want to mention a little bit more about the budget, as the chief highlighted. Just a couple of comments, and I'm going to keep them brief because I want to help make sure that we manage the clock of the meeting. But we did get a pretty decent proposal that came out just this last Wednesday. I think it reflects and recognizes the high priority that the council and its members and all of its courts put on funding, and how valuable and important that is to actually restoring, maintaining, and expanding services for court users who need these vital services. It also reflects the hard work of the branch over the last several or many years with respect to grappling with prior reductions and coming up with efficiencies and innovations in different ways to deliver service. And it's gratifying to see that hard work being recognized by the governor's office and by the governor himself in terms of his proposal of making an investment in that area, and recognizing that for state government to be effective, it also means that you have to have an adequately functioning judicial branch in California. I would direct your attention to the details in the budget, to our budget memo that we put out each year, as well as the governor's budget itself. But I would highlight a couple of the bigger elements in there. Certainly the element that we are most pleased to see is about $150 million investment in what we call trial court base operation funding. This is the funding that will actually directly impact operations so that we can improve and restore and maintain the services out there. There's also about $90 million in what we call backfill money, which means that the 150 investment proposal is actually real because we know we have eroding revenue sources in our system because of what the funding formula is here. And so to have the combination of the two in terms of the new money as well as 90 million in backfill goes a long way. Lastly, we are very pleased to see what could potentially be a restart of our correction program. excuse me, our that's a PTSD moment there, of our construction program. And we're particularly pleased to see this because the council had made a very, very difficult decision not all that long ago to actually cease the construction program, because of a failing revenue stream associated with those projects. Difficult as that decision is, I think that it's recognized here that it was the fiscally responsible and prudent decision to make. And so I think there is some recognition now coming out of the governor's office that was the right decision, and we now have some assistance to try and get our program rebooted and restarted. Lastly, I would remind everybody that even though it's a good proposal for us, it is just a proposal. It is a big deal because it is the governor, of course, but it is January. The legislature now takes its turn as it's the appropriating authority in our government. And so we look forward to working with the legislature, the governor's office, and the capital partners and stakeholders and interested parties in our system to see if we can end the budget cycle here with the same good news that we started with. And that concludes my report, Chief.